Okay, if you're a parent of a little one, you know the feeling, right? That huge pressure to get them ready for kindergarten. You see the checklists, you hear about the alphabet drills, and you're constantly wondering if they're keeping up. Well, let's dive into this, because today we're going to uncover what really matters. You see the flashcards everywhere. You hear about other kids who are already writing their full names, and that little bit of anxiety starts to creep in. It's a totally understandable feeling, and it's fueled by comparing our kids and looking at these massive academic checklists. But what if that focus is just a little bit off target? So let's pull back the curtain on what I like to call the kindergarten readiness myth. That intense focus on academics. It comes from a good place, but it often misses the skills that truly build the foundation for a happy, successful student for life. So if it's not about reciting the alphabet backward, what do veteran teachers really want? Well, the big secret isn't about what a child already knows. Nope, it's about how ready they are to learn. And here is the stat that changes absolutely everything. A landmark study found that a child's social and emotional skills are 10 times more predictive of their future success than their academic skills alone. 10 times. That's a complete game changer.
This quote just gets right to the heart of what educators are telling us. They are not looking for a tiny walking encyclopedia. They are looking for a child who is teachable, one who is resilient, curious, and emotionally equipped for whatever the classroom throws at them. So, how do you actually build that teachable child? Well, it really comes down to a practical toolkit of 5 core skills. And trust me, these have a lot less to do with flashcards and way more to do with just navigating life's little bumps and discoveries.
All right, let's start with what many educators say is the single most valuable asset in any kindergarten classroom: emotional endurance. And this isn't about being tough, it's all about the ability to bounce back when things don't go your way. We have all seen this happen. A child is so focused, they build this incredible tower, and then, boom, it crashes. And in that moment of a full-blown meltdown, their brain is just flooded with emotion, and all the learning channels completely shut down. But a child with resilience? They might feel that flash of frustration, sure, but they can move through it and get back to building, engaging, and learning. So the really crucial part is how you can coach this at home. Instead of saying, don't cry, try this 3-step method. First, you narrate and validate their feeling. Wow, that is so frustrating that your tower fell. Second, allow a moment. Just give them a beat to feel that feeling. And then finally, you shift to problem solving. When you're ready, what could we try next? Okay, next up is a huge cognitive skill for success in the classroom: following multi-step directions. A teacher might say, put your drawing in the folder, then put the folder in your cubby. A child who can follow that stays right in the flow of the classroom, and they feel capable and confident. This skill is all about what we call working memory. You can think of it like the brain's mental sticky note. When you play simple first-then games at home, like first put on your socks, then bring me your shoes, you're not just teaching them to listen, you are actively strengthening the neural pathways for focus. It's like a workout for their brain. Kindergarten is basically a world of new. New friends, new rules, new activities. And to embrace all that, a child needs the courage to be a beginner, that willingness to try something without a guarantee of success. For some kids, that fear of not being good at something right away can be paralyzing. And this is where we, as parents, can make a huge, huge difference. The language we use is everything. By shifting our praise away from the outcome and onto the process, praising their effort, their strategy, their focus, we build a growth mindset and give them the courage to try, fail, and try again. Our fourth skill is the capacity for independent play, and this is so much more than just keeping them busy. It is a critical skill of self-direction. A child who can get lost building with blocks or working on a puzzle is developing focus, creativity, and problem solving, all on their own. Now, it is really important to have realistic expectations here. For a 3 or 4-year-old, 10 to 15 minutes of independent play is a huge win. As they get older, that can stretch to 20 or 30 minutes. You can help build this muscle by starting an activity with them, giving them a small mission, and then stepping away for just a few minutes at a time. And finally, we have the skill that pretty much underpins everything else: clear communication. This is the fundamental tool a child uses to ask for help, solve problems with their friends, and share their ideas. When kids can't find the words, that's usually when frustration takes over. You are their most important language coach. And you can do this by recasting their simple sentences into richer ones. So if they say, "Doggy, run," you say, "Yes, the big, fluffy dog is running so fast." You can also just wonder out loud to model curiosity and make that dinner time download where everyone shares their day a daily ritual. So when we put all of this together, we start to see this big shift in the goal, right? The journey to kindergarten isn't about creating the most knowledgeable child. It's about nurturing the most teachable one. This is it. This is the big secret from the experts, the shift in perspective we've been talking about. It's not about performance. It's about preparing a child for a lifetime of learning.
So what is a teachable child? Well, they're a child who has those 5 core skills we just walked through. They have emotional endurance, they can follow directions, they have the courage to try new things, they can play independently, and they have the words to express their needs. That's the whole shebang.
Okay, now let's get to one final super crucial question. We've gone through the 5 core skills, but what is the single most impactful thing a parent can do at home? This is the question that every kindergarten teacher gets asked, and it's the one every parent wants the answer to. Out of all the things we could be doing, what is the number one priority? Protect their sleep. It is that simple, and it is that profound. The recommendation is 10 to 13 hours of sleep for kids in this age group. A well-rested child is a regulated child, a focused child, and an engaged learner. A consistent early bedtime is more impactful than any late-night academic trail you could ever do. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When we focus on these core skills, we shift our entire perspective. We stop preparing our kids for a test, and we start preparing them for a lifetime of curiosity, confidence, and learning. And really, isn't that the ultimate goal?